I'm going to give you a general overview about the special tools that you need to mounting and dismounting our screw compressor. We can start talking about a heater. We can use it to take off the lock nut from the rotor. Then we can talk about the scraper that you can use to remove the gasket from our casing. The third one is the chisel that we use to also to remove the key. We have a cutter. We need a cutter to cut out the inner ring of the bearing from the shaft. We need also a hammer to take off the rotor from the casing. To push inside the seal in the rotor, we need a boss, a pilot boss. Then we can talk about this special tools. Is a pusher that we use to insert the bearing inside the casing. This is a simple punch that we use to extract the key from the shaft. Now to make the correct clearance between the shaft and the casing, we have to use a specific tolerance spacer. Now this is one simple key to remove the lock nut. And this is a key in order to remove all the screw and to insert the screw. Now to take off the bearings from the casing, you need one special tools for the extraction. A brush for the rotors. Now I'm gonna show you some Loctite. We use Loctite 270 to lock the nut. We use Loctite 573 in the discharge casing, between the discharge casing and the rotor casing. The Loctite 648 we use in the inner ring of the seal, between the inner ring and the shaft. And the last Loctite 222 we use when we fix the lip seal into the cover of the seal. Now we are going to look at what you need to make a complete overview of our SCA13 ایرند. We can start from the seal set. The code of the seal set is SCA13 03 Inside we can find the dust cover ring, the seal cover gasket, the inner ring and the Teflon seal ring. You can check in the second page the number 31, 25, 26, and 27, the right position in our drawing. Now we can move on in the second set that you need to continue with our overview. That is thrust bearing set. The code is SCA13-03-04. And we have two thrust bearing for the male rotor. And one thrust bearing for the female rotor. We can check also in this case the position. Items are number 11 for the male thrust bearing and number 6 for the female thrust bearing. Again, checking in the drawing. You can see number 11 and number 6, the right position. Now, the next set is journal bearing set. The code is SCA13-03-05, and in this case we have 4 different bearing. We have 2 journal bearing for the male rotor and 2 journal bearing for the female rotor. Also, in this case, is very simple going to check the right position of the bearing. So the item number in the drawing are, in this case, 9, 15, 20, and 23. And you can check the right position of your bearing. 9, 15 for the female rotor is the 9 in the discharge position. The 15 is the bearing that you need in the male rotor, always in the discharge position. And the number 20 is the female rotor in suction position. And number 23 is the male bearings in the male rotor, always in suction position. It's very easy. Are going to connect your bearing with the right position. The next set that you need is the clearance set, and inside you have 3 locking ring, two locking ring, 2 different because the big one is for the male rotor, the small one is for the female rotor, and also you can find 2 different spacers, one for the male rotor and one for the female rotor, and 2 wave spring. Also in this case you have the number, and you can check the right position in the drawing of our item of this set. The last item that we need is a gasket, and is a delivery cover gasket. The code is SCA 13121 and is the number 4. And we can check the last item, the position number 4 of our discharge gasket. At the end, you can find all the special tools that you required with the code, the quantity, and the price. Thank you for your attention. Hello again. Now we are going to see our annex file. You can use our annex file to follow picture and information about maintenance operation, in this case for our SCA 13D. And now we are going to follow all the instruction that you can find in our annex step by step. We start from the first step, that is the key extraction from the mill rotor. Okay. Using a hammer and a punch, we had extract the key. The second step, figure number 2, we have to remove all the screw of the seal cover. In this case, we have 4 screws M8 that we have to take it out from the seal cover. The next step is the extraction of the seal cover, like in the figure number 3. And now we can remove the bearing using our hammer. We can, the last step for the seal is to remove the gasket of the seal cover. Sì. E poi leviamo l'anello?
No.
No?
No, dopo.
Ok. Now we can move on. Please turn the Ireland. We can go through.
Devo capotarlo.
We can go through to figure 19. We are extracting the screw. We have 2 screws in this position. And then we can go ahead unscrewing the other screw. Figure 18. Okay, now we can go to the next step, figure 20, the extraction the extraction of the assembly made the discharge casing, the rotors, the bearing. Okay. Now we have the assembly. We can extract it. As I told you before, the assembly is made by female rotor, male rotor. We have the 4 journal bearings and 2 truss bearing for the female and 1 truss bearing, 2 for the male and 1 for the female. For the next step, we can extract the lock nut. Using the key, we can unscrew the lock nut. Okay, the female lock nut was unscrewed. Now we are going to remove the axial bearing. So we have 1 axial bearing for the female rotor and 2 axial bearing for the male rotor. First male truss bearing is gone, and now the second male truss bearing is gone. We have right now the male rotor that right now is free of bearing. Okay. Also, the female thrust bearing is gone. And now we have the 2 rotors. And we have to take off the gasket. We need to take off all the pins, and we take off a sigil ring that take in position the journal bearing, and we take off the external diameter of the journal bearing from the discharge casing. Okay, Now we have the digital casing free of everything. And we have the two rotors with the inner ring of the bearing fixed in the rotor. Now we are going to show you how to take off the external part of the bearing, the last that we have in the compressor casing, using a special tool. Okay. Now we have extracted all the external part of the journal bearing that are roller bearing. We also had extract all the ball bearing, the axial bearing, and now we have to extract the inner ring of the roller bearing that are still in the shaft. So using the cutter, okay. Okay, in this way we had cut. We can cut all the inner ring of the seal, but also the inner ring of the bearing. Now the dismounting of the machine is complete.